Hey guys, welcome back. We have a full moon in Capricorn that we're going to be talking about for our midweek energy update this week. We have the full moon in Capricorn coming in on Thursday, July 10th, 2025, 2037 Universal Time. That translates into 4:37 p.m. Eastern Time, 18 degrees, 15 minutes of the signs of Capricorn where the moon is and Cancer where the sun is. Whenever we have a full moon energy coming in, it is because the sun and the moon have reached a point of exact opposition. This happens once a month and it marks the midpoint in any unfolding lunar cycle. Right now we are moving through Cancer season, brought to us by our new moon in Cancer that took place a couple weeks ago. So as we hit the midpoint of that cycle, the full moon in Capricorn, we get of course a Capricorn full moon, and now moving forward we're going to be closing out our Cancer season over the course of this next 2 weeks. Now, considering that we do have our yearly full moon in Capricorn energy going on right now, the planetary synastry going on out there is real interesting because really, like, this is kind of anything but a standard or traditional full moon in Capricorn energy. That's because the planet Saturn, who rules the sign of Capricorn, is kind of experiencing like a breakdown in 3 ways. We have the full moon itself in a very tight trine to the south node in the sign of Virgo. This is an earth sign trine. This is a very supportive and facilitated flow of energy, and it's between the moon in Capricorn and the south node, which is the point of karmic release. The south node has to do with letting things go, release, surrender, loss, the past. So with the full moon in Capricorn in the trine to the south node, already this is kind of weakening the state of things pertaining to the Capricornian influence because of that draining trine happening with the south node, which is like this karmic release point. So on one hand, this could signify a point of like emotional or karmic release in terms of some burdens or some pressure or responsibility or overwhelm perhaps that we've been carrying or that's just been weighing on us for maybe even like a very long period of time. But this could also have to do with things being represented through Capricorn, like authority, control, government, rules, systems, regulations, and stuff like that, experiencing some type of release, change, ending, culmination, breakdown. So Saturn energy, Capricorn energy is at a point of release in the context of the past somehow, while we've got this full moon playing out. Aside from that, Saturn, who is the ruler of the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn's position, placement, aspects, transits right now are very significant because this is the full moon in Capricorn. This is Saturn's full moon. So what's happening with Saturn is directly related to how a lot of this full moon lunar energy is going to be playing out for us. Now, Saturn, as you guys know, if you've been following the astrology, is in a conjunction to Neptune, who just stationed retrograde in the very beginning of the sign of Aries. This is another influence that, you know, is kind of right in alignment with what I just got done describing, the trine between the Capricorn moon and the south node. Neptune breaks things down. Neptune like erodes things, it dissolves things, it washes things away. Saturn, this is boundaries, limitations, structure, discipline, duty, control, authority, responsibilities, burdens, pressure. Like again, you know, with it being the moon in Capricorn, this could have to do with the emotional weight or the emotional burden that we've been carrying, but also same exact thing, you know, what Capricorn represents, like authority figures, governments, like the frameworks and the foundations upon which things have been built and existing within and operating on for long periods of time across like a multi-dimensional spectrum of reality, being dismantled, coming down, falling apart, the end of some era of management somehow, or of control somehow, or of governance somehow. And this could also be pertaining to belief systems that we have like governed our lives or various aspects of our lives by, that are being dismantled or coming apart or shifting or changing or being released in this energy as well. So between the combination of the moon itself in the sign of Capricorn in a real tight trine to the south node, the moon is at 18 degrees 50 minutes of the sign of Capricorn, and right now the south node is at 20 degrees of the sign of Virgo. So that's only a 2-degree orb separation between the exact trine there. So that's a tight trine, and that is a powerfully and we're talking about a full moon. Full moons are also like an energetic release valve. So this is a big opportunity for some type of emotional or karmic release of some type of burden, or for some transition in control or authority to be going on somehow. And it's most likely pertaining to the past giving way to the future. Because I'll cycle probably through this round and around a couple of times throughout the course of this video. But if you guys watched my Monday video, or you've been following along with the astrology, then you know that we are currently going through like a real significant energetic shift. Uranus has entered the sign of Gemini for the first time in 75 years. And this energy is sort of like the gateway to an upcoming period that will be characterized by like tremendous change throughout many realms and dimensions of life and society. We have like big kind of like epic systemic changes coming, specifically in regards to energy, technology, and communication, and things to do with like space travel and air transportation and stuff like that. I do feel like we're sort of moving into like space age type of vibes as of this Uranus transit that we've got going on. I've been going on and on about it. A lot of astrologers have been talking about it. And this to me is an energy that is very much like bridging us into a future that I think a lot of people have sort of been able to like see and understand and anticipate, and like we've sort of been waiting for it for a long time, but it just like hasn't come or hasn't happened for whatever reason. I think this is the time that we are going to start to see what would be associated with a real like paradigm shift begin to take place. And again, I talked a lot about that in my last video, so if you want to know more about it, check out that one. But in this video, we're talking about sort of like the flip side to that energy, which is also happening at the same time that energy is present. Of course, Uranus made this move on Monday. Here we are on Thursday talking about this full moon energy. So there's just a couple of days in between there. Uranus is still at 0 degrees of the sign of Aquarius. So this pull into this like new future era is real strong right now. And there's likely to be, as a result of that, kind of like future focus in terms of how things are oriented, what we're thinking about. A lot of rapid changes happening right now, like feeling almost like being like pulled into like a new timeline or a new experience or a new reality or a new way of life somehow. And then we've got this full moon coming through, and I just got done saying, you know, the full moon itself, this is a release point in a very tight trine to what in our, you know, zodiac is referred to as the karmic release point. And Saturn rules the past and rules time and is the lord of karma, and the south node is about this karmic release breaking cycle energy. So while on one hand we have the Uranian energy, which is pulling us forward, introducing us to this radical new future, change, transformation, we also have on the other side of that this galactic support with the trine, which is a facilitating energy. This is a supportive energy. This is a free flow of energy to release the past. So there's a major energetic push here to like tear down and release and remove the like foundations and structures and frameworks that supported the like past era of our lives, while simultaneously this new paradigm this like new world is emerging to replace it. So we've got sort of two things going on at once. We've got a crumbling of the old ways in the old world and the old order, while there is an emergence of something that is radically new and different that we're being pulled towards in a way that could feel very almost divinely aligned or synchronistic, or just as though there's some higher power orchestrating events that are taking place right now. So whereas on Monday, you know, we just moved into this energy that is just like this burst of epic newness, this full moon to me right here is talking about like tearing down the walls, establishing or reestablishing order, governance. This could be redefining authority somehow, changing the rules of the game. Though I think we will see come with this, the way that things have operated in the past in order to get a successful outcome is not going to be the way that they proceed moving forward. I've been talking about this for a long time now, and we've reached the point where we are going to start see that being initiated, probably, if not like as this full moon energy is going on, then definitely moving forward throughout the course of the next full 2 weeks that are associated with this full moon. And I do think even beyond that into this stronger Uranian energy that is going to begin to, I think, change the way that we're thinking about a lot of things, probably like now and as we move forward. But there does seem to be, ultimately, I think this moon really is about some type of release from tradition, release from convention, release from past precedents and templates and modes of operating. There does seem to be a significant breakdown in structures and authority being indicated. And I would really not be surprised if one of the main ways that this energy manifested was through like management changes that are taking place. People stepping down, specifically like people in positions of management or like higher up positions, because that is what the Capricorn energy rules. Stepping down, retiring, being let go, being fired, or it could have to do also with just some type of change of position, like coming to the end of some order or way of structuring your life because you've been doing some type of job and now you're going to start something new and it's going to change the entire like lifestyle, habit, routine, schedule situation. That could also be a very prominent way that this works. And of course, you know, with the Capricorn Cancer axis very highlighted right now, this could also be pertaining to things to do with like the home life balance. And we also right now have Mars at 14 degrees of the sign of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is a family tree. So there could be like family issues that we're navigating right now or that are somehow involved, or the structure of the family, or things also to do with the father or, you know, generations, things to do with like the father and the son and transitions in authority or power could be going on with this. The family structure or the family unit could be under some type of flux here. And again, like the work-life balance. But I do think that a lot of people are going to be either having structural or management based changes happen within their workplace, especially if it's more of a corporate environment, or they're themselves going to be changing what they're doing for work for some reason at this point in time also, and like maybe starting something new. So as I mentioned, just to reiterate, the main well, to me, really, the main T on this Capricorn full moon is the Saturn 3 ways being kind of like taken down or like just lessened. It's a Capricorn Saturn full moon, but it's not, you know. The full moon trine the South Node, that's a release valve on the strong Capricorn nature of energy and events and circumstances, situations right now. Saturn with Neptune, talking about this for a while now, several weeks. This is energy that makes it real hard to maintain structure, to maintain order, to maintain authority. It really does blur the lines, blur the boundaries. And Saturn's also, as I said, stationing retrograde, like slowing down in the sky right now. And that is another thing that is diminishing, I think, the Saturn like outward authority even more, is the fact that we've got this retrograde process that is incoming, and Saturn's gonna back into Pisces, which is just more of the same. Like that's inhibiting Saturn's ability to be in authority, to be in control, to, swing the hammer. So, and Saturn is the past. Saturn's the Lord of time. Saturn's the Lord of karma. This is a major point of karmic release, like lessons that are either being learned or that are at a point where they have been learned and now we're being released from that set of lessons or tests or karmic experience to go in this new direction and to learn something new. It's interesting also because Uranus energy is like associated with our destiny and like where the future is pulling us and like what we need to do to reorient ourselves towards that path, like aligned with our higher self and our higher purpose. And Saturn is these karmic lessons. So I do think also like a lot of people could be coming to a point where they find themselves finally like mastering some pattern or some lesson or some just like karmic loop and like legitimately learning the lesson. And then as a result of that, no longer having to experience like that set of circumstances that maybe had defined a set period of time in the life where we were navigating these situations that maybe seemed quite cyclical, or we were finding ourselves in again and again. And now we're at a point where we like genuinely have gained that wisdom, and universe is pushing us forward into this new set of experiences represented through this new Uranian energy that's coming in right now that maybe is meant to define this new and upcoming era of our lives as the past just totally like shreds itself and crumbles and falls away. So things coming in and things going out at the same time, but this moon really, I do think, is specifically highlighting that which is being released in the context of that which we're moving towards. Now remember, if we're talking about the moon itself being in the trine to the south node, that means that we've got two oppositional points to discuss there who are also in trine. A full moon only happens because the moon is exactly opposite the sun, and the south node is always an exact opposition to the north node. When we're talking about the nodes, we're talking about a dueling an exactly opposing polarity on an axis. So while we've got the Capricorn moon and the south node, and another thing I want to say, as an astrologer, I have noted over the years of looking at charts that when aspects or transits are happening in earth signs, that's when we're more likely to see things like physically, tangibly happening. Water signs often involve the emotions. Fire signs, this is like our passion and our life force and our enthusiasm and, what we're doing or the actions that we're taking. We're talking about air signs, that's the thoughts that we're having and the ideas that are, pushing us in certain directions or whatever. But when we're talking about earth signs, that has a tendency to be like things in the physical world actually happening. So it's not like we're like talking about or thinking about wanting to move on from some things or wanting to let go from some things or wanting to change some things. It's not like, that's how we're feeling and it's bringing us emotions. It's not like we're all whipped up and passionate to make it happen and we've got this creative impulse to like rush forward and do it. It's like, in a way that could be quite out of our control, it's like just happening. Like things are just happening, especially with the trine, in order for these processes, these endings, these culmination points to take place. And I mean, it could be as simple as like this being a period of time when you like finally are completing something. Maybe you've been like taking a class or a course or something like that, or you've been working on a project, or I don't know, you're just like at the end of something that you've been putting a lot of time and energy into for a while, and this is the transition point and it's just the way that it's lining up. Or it could, again, like correlate to some type of like legitimate cycle that we're breaking out of right now. It's going to be happening in all different types of ways across all spectrums of life and reality, microcosm, macrocosm. But with why I'm bringing this up, we're talking about now the fact that the sun and the north node, the destiny point, are also in this trine in water signs. So and the north node's in the sign of Pisces, which is also about surrender. This is also about release. It really is, to me, speaking to that some suns, with the sun being in the sign of Cancer, Jupiter's in Cancer right now as well, our well-being, something to do with like our comfort or our security may very well be tied into whatever that thing is that we're having to release right now. Like there is a like ability to grow and expand, associated again not only through the North Node, you know, the Sun in Cancer, Jupiter doing his transit of Cancer right now as well, while we have the Capricorn full moon coming in. For the new moon in Cancer itself, we had Jupiter in a conjunction to the new moon. Like, this energy really, I do think, is trying to put us in a better place, but our ability to release something, whether it's something emotional, whether it's something that we've been struggling for a long period of time, or whether it's just something that we are actually culminating or finishing right now, it's like serving us, you know what I mean? Like, there is, it could be very gratifying, very satisfying. It could have a successful outcome, or it could just bring a feeling of internal fulfillment or knowing that we've done the right thing. This is also a very, very intuitive period of time right now. It's also a very psychic period of time right now. Trust your gut about things, you guys. And also, don't be afraid if you find yourself experiencing like really just like unexplainable, almost like otherworldly moments of feeling like just totally aligned with the universe, or like the universe is speaking to you, or like spiritual contact or something like that. That is also a dimension of this strong Uranus, Gemini, Pluto, Aquarius energy that we're moving into. So, you know, flashes of insight, like instant downloads, just sudden like almost sensations of like prophecy could be real strong right now, and they're likely to be these very personal experiences. So if you find yourself having incidents like that, just realize that it's something that's going to become more commonplace and more a part of our experience going forward, and learn how to interact with that energy in a way that benefits you, because that is we are being more fine-tuned to like the cosmic consciousness, I guess really would be the best way to put it, with this Uranus Gemini Pluto trine right now. So you can really gain some beneficial insight simply through your process of active observation and awareness and openness to receive communication right now as well. So there's that. One additional thing that I wanted to note and bring your attention to while talking about the dismantling impact of the past burdens, responsibilities, weight of the world, things that we've been carrying for long periods of time, breaking karmic cycles, energy that this full moon is likely to manifest in alignment with. The Sabian symbol of the degree placement of our full moon, which is occurring, as I said, I think it was 18 degrees 50 minutes of the sign of Capricorn is where the moon is. So we're going to be reading the Sabian symbol for 19 degrees of Capricorn. When we read symbolism associated with degree placement, we always round up a degree because we read the wave of energy that is like building, coming in, beginning to manifest, coming to fruition. We don't read the wave of energy that has already passed and is like waning out and dissipating, and that is just not so strong or powerful anymore. So we're going to look at 19 degrees of Capricorn in terms of the Sabian symbol placement, and that Sabian symbol is a child of about 5 carrying a huge shopping bag filled with groceries. So that is also the same type of theme I feel like going on here. You know, maybe there is something that we have been carrying emotionally or otherwise for a long time from the past, maybe some burden or responsibility that we felt like we had to shoulder, or something that, you know, we felt like we had to do, or that we had to become, or that we had to align with, or that we had to support somehow because maybe other people were relying on us, or maybe it was what was expected of us. But for whatever reason, right now, this I feel like is talking about putting that down, even if it's something that we have been carrying since childhood, because it's like this is the point in time where we don't need to carry it any longer. Like, maybe up until now, we really did need to be the one that was supporting that thing, but at this point in time, that phase has ended, that chapter's closed. We can drop that bag, and we are going to be moving forward and doing something different from now on. And that's literally just the story that's being told here. When we have a full moon in Cap that is highlighting the unsaturnness of Saturn so much, while we also have a Uranus Pluto trine and air signs going on, and we're at the like precipice of manifesting the age of Aquarius into our 3D physical experience. It's pretty clear that the past is giving way to the future here, and the ways that we have done and been and lived life up until this point in time are going to begin to change. And it's going to be associated with a lot of these future developments that begin to come in right now that I do think also are going to make a lot of stuff from the past no longer relevant. So a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the foundational things, a lot of the like, I don't know, just like the tradition or the convention or the systems and protocols that have been in place, you know, the templates for success in the past are about to change. And of course, this fits right into our simultaneously transitioning power model now that we have Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, where we are moving from a centralized power dynamic to a decentralized power dynamic. And that is also going to trickle out and impact our experience and what we perceive as normal, like in the past, as opposed to how things are going to be establishing themselves now and moving forward. Saturn is the order. Saturn is the establishment. Saturn is the tradition. This is the framework. So when we're talking about Neptune being in the conjunction as well, this, as I was mentioning earlier, also has to do with the beliefs and the belief systems that have structured our reality. I am telling you guys, Uranus and Gemini times Pluto in Aquarius, there is some type of transparency, there is some type of accountability, there is some type of major revelation or something, or information, innovation, invention. I don't know what it's going to be, but it seems like over, you know, who knows, like now, any day now, any month now, any year now, but like within this next couple year spell of time, I think that we are going to see like some big disclosures or something like that, that somehow just radically shift the way that things are done and operate on planet Earth. And that is what this, to me, this chart is describing. So a child of about 5 carrying a huge shopping bag filled with groceries. It is time to set down, you know, whatever we've been carrying. It probably has served us quite well in some reason, for some capacity up until this point in time, but we don't need to carry it anymore. I don't know if it's literally just going to levitate next to us now in some anti-gravity field. That could be literally with the way that this Aquarius, Uranus, Gemini energy is coming in. I do think that we could like see things like that. Or I don't know, maybe the bag just doesn't need to be carried anymore, but it'll be interesting, you guys, to see how all of this goes. Now I want to pivot a little bit and talk about some of the other ways that this energy could be manifesting for us, maybe on a bit of a more mundane level. I don't think this is going to be the best week for like business or completing a lot of tasks, or like the work that we're doing having, you know, super productive payoffs or super productive results here. With all of this, as I said before, like non-existent Saturn energy for our Capricorn full moon, it's like the machine's not working this week. It's like nobody's there to do the job. It's like the way that like the gears that are turning that usually make things go and get done just doesn't seem to be following that same level of routine or order or structure. There may actually, in that regard, be like mechanical issues, like machines may be malfunctioning or like literally not working this week, and that could lead to an inability to like legitimately be productive. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just, you know, various things malfunctioning that prevent us from getting the job done. But Capricorn and Saturn is also about the ability to be productive, to achieve a goal, to be successful, to get the work done, to get the job done. And with the like, you know, the trine to the south node and the Neptune situation and Saturn about to station and go retrograde into Pisces, again, this just feels like a very undisciplined, unstructured, out of control, like everything's kind of a mess kind of like a cluster, you know what, and I can't get things to come together. So there's that end of things. There could also be emotional breakdowns going on as well, kind of like along those same lines, but if we turn it towards the moon energy and the emotions of things, a lack of emotional regulation, because normally a Capricorn moon person, and you probably know this if you have a Capricorn moon, like that's like an inner authority, okay? Like there's a strictness there. Like there's an ability to be on top of the game. Like we are not really settling for less. Like we have some high expectations. We have standards. We know what needs to be done. We are in control and we're going to get the job done. Like this is quite an emotionally regulated, very firm type of emotional energy. But not right now. Not with the trine to the South Node and also the conjunction to Neptune for Saturn and also Saturn about to station retrograde. Like this is very little self-discipline. This is very little emotional control or emotional regulation or grounding really at all as well. That's another thing about the energy field right now, you guys, and our Capricorn moon is exemplifying that as well. We have pretty much no earth energy that we can rely on to keep us grounded, to tether us to reality right now. The only earth energy that we have present is Mars in the sign of Virgo and the South Node in Virgo, where Mars is moving towards right now. That, and again, I've explained the South Node. This is loss. This is endings. This is the release valve. The only true energy that we've got going on in earth signs is this active energy for release and change, for things to be like actively unstable, actively in a state of flux, like actively ungrounded or out of alignment with what usually provides the state of grounding or security or stability. So a lot of things could feel real shaky, and then also on the other side, add to it that hypercharged Uranian energy that is whipping things up. That is unstable also. But whereas the Virgo South Node Mars energy is like actively unstable because it's like about initiating a process of release and change, the Uranian energy is just unstable by nature. That's things just being so fast paced and so high speed that they can get a little tripped up and, not really knowing how things are going to land. It's like the free fall energy. So again, like on both ends of things, there's just not an ability to like set an expectation, not an ability to like keep things under control, not an ability to really like feel super grounded or stabilized. So if you find yourself going through like that dimension of this experience, that is also something that I think could be present here. The past may also be very strangely relevant for some reason this week. I mean, as I said, the Sabian symbol placement, the child of about 5, there could be like childhood stuff that's coming up with this because it is very karmic in nature. The Lord of Karma ruling the moon in the conjunction. I mean, I could go through the whole thing again, but when we're dealing with, karmic cycles and stuff, a lot of times this is pertained, like when those began, oftentimes has to do with childhood trauma or childhood experiences or something that basically like set that programming in place so that we would have the opportunity to face certain issues over and over again in life until we learned the lesson and passed the test, which I do feel like is where a lot of people are at right now. And if they're not there right now, they may be coming up against some very important karmic lessons that are actually going to be the experiences that do provide that pathway to this release point that, I mean, we're all having to go through that right now. For a lot of us, that is what we're going to be doing throughout the course of the rest of our lives, like trying to get to that point where we break through that programming, break through that karmic cycle, and do like set ourselves on this path to some form of true like self-actualization somehow, fulfilling some higher purpose, whether we're conscious of it or not. But I think it's going to become more and more difficult not to be conscious of that process as we have the Great Awakener going through the sign of Gemini associated with the mind. Anyways, the past could somehow be very relevant with the moon trining the South Node. There could be some nostalgia, some emotional connection to the past, something from the past coming back around, coming full circle somehow, or again, finally coming to a release point in the context maybe of something that we realized happened long ago. This could be letting go of something finally. after a long period of time from the past. Remember, of course, again, we are in Cancer season. We are dealing with the sun in the sign of Cancer opposite the moon in Capricorn. That is making this trine to the south node. Cancer has to do with the home, with the family, with the like upbringing, with the roots, with the early childhood experiences and stuff like that as well. So again, kind of like that same theme. There could be like reminiscing going on, things from early childhood, people you've known from them, I don't know, coming back up, coming back around in a way that helps us to finally like close some chapter, put an end to something, put a period on the end, like, and finally move on somehow, because that is where this is going, really, whether we want to or not. As I was saying earlier, things could also feel or become quite out of control in this energy, quite chaotic. Because I mean, it is like the discipline, the authority, the structure is definitely lacking here. It's all the world is like, who's in charge? Like, what's going on and who's in charge? Nobody knows, and everybody's just kind of like standing around looking at each other, trying to figure out who's going to do what. Because nothing is predictable, and it's almost like nothing makes sense anymore either, because all these frameworks that our ideas and that our perceptions had been built upon seem to be crumbling and breaking down, and so many people are just like, well, what do we do now? And that's the thing. This future direction is, again, like pulling us in this direction that we haven't experienced before. We're going places that we haven't been before. We don't have a recorded historical context for the way that this Uranus, Gemini, Pluto, Aquarius trine is going to impact us now and throughout the course of the next 7, bridging into the next 20 years, while Uranus transits Gemini 7 and Pluto's in the sign of Aquarius for 20 years. So the early phases of this energy could definitely feel like some type of just, I don't know, circus out there. It's also interesting because Saturn right now is at the 2nd degree of Aries. Well, the 1st degree of Aries, but the Sabian symbol for the 2nd degree of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a comedian entertaining the group. Also, with all of this broken down Saturn energy, Saturn is like what makes us take stuff super seriously. You know, like Saturn is like very grave and very like critical and very judgmental and very like, we need to be serious about things, and very somber. And with like Saturn in these type of just like weakened, compromised-ish positions and at that degree, I don't know, I do think that people may just not be taking things so seriously right now, or may have a really hard time taking things seriously. Like that could be an issue right now as well. Like people that are trying to assert authority or control in this energy, like people may just have a very hard time respecting that or taking that seriously, or feeling like that is like a very valid thing. You know what I mean? Like there could be a lot of people that are kind of like vying for control or trying to demonstrate like how much of an authority they are, how much governance they're good at, how much control they have over the situation, or, you know, the impact that they're making. But like the people observing the situation, or the employees, or, you know, the other people around involved are really just like chuckling to themselves on the inside because they like just can't take this seriously for some reason. Probably honestly because of the lack of genuine or authentic competence that is really behind that like exertion of control in order to really demonstrate how powerful or in control they are. You know what I mean? A lot of times when people are insecure internally, they really need to project their authority externally to sort of prove to themselves how superior or how in control or how much authority they really truly do command. So we could see stuff going on like that, but there's just something here about like either not taking it seriously, or it actually being a joke, or it feeling like a joke. And that's another reason why I'm saying, you guys, like try not to get super frustrated if your efforts just seem to really like not translate into much this week. Again, like if we can kind of not push so hard, not go through this full moon energy, you know, through Thursday, maybe into the weekend with the real true set expectation that, oh, you know, we are really going to work hard and we're really going to get a very productive payoff and outcome because of that. We're probably just going, it's going to be better for like our mental health and our sanity and like our emotional regulation, which we may be struggling with as well. It's just not there. Like, it's just not our ability to work hard and get a productive outcome, get a lot done, you know, have a good payoff. Like, with the lack of strong Saturn energy right now for this strong Saturn energy period of time, our efforts, I do think, are going to be relatively fruitless. So if we know that going in, this is a week, you know, if you have an ability to like make a bit of a lighter schedule this week, I would just recommend going ahead and doing that, because it's another one of those weeks where you're just not going to be missing out on anything. Like, if you do all the work and stay on top of everything and, you know, really put all your effort into it and really stress yourself out and, you know, run yourself into the ground this week trying to accomplish something, it's almost like it's not going to matter, because there will probably be stuff that happens out of your control that like sabotages or diminishes or makes like irrelevant for some reason all of that effort. So instead of doing that, when we know we've got energy like this is a better week to just like, you know, get done what needs to be done, but maybe, you know, just give yourself a little bit of a break, a little bit of a lighter workload if you can, and give yourself some time off. Also, remember, we have the sun in Cancer trining the North Node in the sign of Pisces. This is a very receptive, very passive energy. It is more about like taking time off, taking a vacation, taking it easy. Also, like getting around water can have a very therapeutic or, you know, healing or enlightening impact on us somehow. But relaxing, not working too hard, trying to be more comfortable and less like rigid and harsh. This is where the North Node energy is, which is associated with our growth, as opposed to where the full moon energy is right now in the trine to the South Node, which is what we are letting go of. It's like we're letting go of some type of strict duty, discipline, responsibility, workload, and like our growth, or the actual energetic pull right now is towards some type of release, some type of surrender, some type of passivity, some type of receptivity. Okay, this feminine watery energy, the sun, the life force, right, trining the North Node, the destiny point, growth and expansion. The moon, Capricorn, the emotional burden, letting go of what's been stressing us out, and maybe just like giving ourselves an opportunity to have a breather, rest, relax, and maybe, I don't know, engage in something that feels more like soul food than a soul burden. But yeah, like progress, even like working towards goals or accountability this week, there's just probably not going to be a huge amount of result that comes from that. And being too serious or taking things too seriously or being too rigid or too uptight also is just not the vibe right now. So don't push too hard this week, you guys. It won't translate into what it normally would, and this is a much better energy, as I was talking about earlier, to make upgrades, adjust things, make corrections, change how we are doing things in order to improve outcomes. This is a great time to edit your life, your habits, your routines, making radical alterations to our business, to our lifestyle, to our schedules, breaking old patterns, breaking old habits that are not serving us anymore, that are not contributing to our growth, that are not associated with our higher well-being. This is what the week is best for. This is what we are being supported in doing in this energy. And also, North Node in Pisces, you guys, having faith, surrendering the burden while we go through this process, this is another thing that is supported in this energy. This is also a time for cultivating our faith and our spiritual connection. And like I said earlier, being receptive to spiritual guidance and spiritual communication and this interactive relationship with God, with the higher power, with cosmic consciousness in a way that makes sense to you and that you can actually utilize and apply in your choices and decisions in the way that you're navigating your physical life and reality. But trying to exert authority, control, or achieve something, accomplish anything of significance this week is just not going to get you what you want. The full moon energy itself is sort of like a slow paced, more rest and relax, lazy day type of vibe. But then we've also got that Uranus situation going on. This is stimulating change, bringing newness over the tradition, the normalcy, and tearing down, again, like this combination of energy, I feel like is tearing down whatever is standing still perhaps in the way of that. This again could also be just completing some big work, goal, project, and being done with it so that you don't need to put any more work in, so that you can finally like move on maybe from that responsibility or whatever it was that you've perhaps been shouldering for a period of time. Or it could also literally be your boss getting fired or just deciding to quit for some reason. The authority people in charge are, I think, undergoing the greatest state of flux right now. A lot of this is also, as we know, going to have to do with these revelations, things that are being uncovered, things that we are becoming aware of right now that we didn't know were happening before. And as a result of that, there's these changes that need to be made. Uranus is at 1 degree of the sign of Gemini in terms of Sabian symbol placement right now. That Sabian symbol is a glass bottom boat, reveals undersea wonders. So this whole period of time also has to do with us figuring out and seeing the gears in the machine, right? We are meeting personally, I think, the great and powerful Oz somehow over this next couple weeks. Secrets revealed, revelations, seeing under the surface, seeing what's been hidden. Everyone out there in this energy is like some type of adept detective, borderline prophet, okay? And there's just no more hiding in the shadows here. There's no more like false representation. There's no more facades. There's no pretending to be one thing when you're something else. This is, I think, why a lot of the old ways are breaking down. They are being exposed for what they truly are, and therefore a lot of people aren't going to be able to continue doing what they were doing, you know, for that reason. If what they are is authentic and valuable and supporting processes and growth right now, then great. They're, you know, going to, I think, stay around and not really have any issues. But if they are dishonest or corrupt or any type of false representation appearing to be true for some reason, or functioning as some type of blockage or hindrance to what needs to grow right now, this is when they're going to start falling apart. This is when they're going to lose control. This is when they're going to lose relevancy or whatever is necessary in order to break the grip of whatever that was on whatever it is, so that whatever can become can take place. So basically, in a nutshell, you guys, I do think this is our collective point of utter intolerance to BS and facades in any type of a way. Either be what you say you are and signed up to be, or you can go, or I will go. But either way, we don't have any business together if you are not whatever it is you appear to be. So that's really how I see this energy. Of course, as I said, this could be pertaining to home and family for some reason as well. Work-home balance. I do think there is like a pretty heavy emphasis on the career dimension of things with this as well, and also starting new things. So people quitting, people leaving, people transitioning, people starting new jobs, new roles, and new positions. Slow week for business. I do think people are generally going to be like otherwise consumed. Maybe, and that's also a thing, like because of such new energy right now, there could be like a learning curve that's going on associated with things this week also. So the productivity is just not there because we're like engaged in maybe like learning or doing or experimenting or trying something new. So I don't know, we're just like, the results just aren't coming for some reason throughout the course of this week. So again, you guys, try to relax this week. Try not to put too much pressure on yourself. If you do, you know, it's probably going to end up being like for, you know, relatively nothing. This is a good week though to like make edits, make changes, make corrections that will make things better. And we've got Jupiter at 8 degrees of the sign of Cancer this week, you guys. That Sabian symbol is a group of rabbits dressed in human clothes walk as if on parade. And I feel like that actually, that symbolism is kind of on point for maybe like the basic vibe out there. You know, things could be quite strange or unusual or different or out of place, a little bit, you know, maybe silly or funny, but again, like just not super serious, not super productive, not something that, you know, we can really take seriously, but also like not anything that is providing any type of real like solid outcome or effectiveness. So that's what I think, you guys. That's what I have to say about our full moon in Capricorn that we've got going on now. Should be very interesting times. The collapse on one hand, the emergence on the other hand. Pay attention to what is falling away right now and also what is emerging, microcosm, macrocosm. It's going to be reflecting in both. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. We're going to get one final card. I'm gonna get us a synchronicity card. Ask God, Spirit, Universe for a piece of advice. What do we have going on? What do we need to know? We've already got a card. And that's funny. Our guidance for today says persist. Keep going. Because of his persistence, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. Luke 11:8-9. Nothing is too large or too small, and your persistence in believing in God's ability to provide whatever it is you seek will bring you to your goal. Persistence, waiting, patience, and never failing faith will lead you to your goal. So there it is, you guys. There's not much really that, again, I think that we can do actively to make things happen faster this week in terms of getting that productive outcome. But again, this is saying our faith, specifically patience, waiting, never failing faith. This is what is leading us to our goals at this point in time. There are these greater cosmic forces at play right now. It's very, very evident and obvious if you are perceptive of the energy field out there right now, which I know you guys are. And our guidance for this week is to persist and that we are heading in the right direction. Maintain the faith, you guys. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would enjoy this type of astrology content as well. We hit 10K, you guys. I am so grateful. Thank you all so much. Every single one of you that is here with me, that watches these videos. I cannot tell you how much it means to me to have a community who shares my enthusiasm about watching and observing the unfolding energy patterns and the events correlating with them as we go through this paradigm shift, narrating the shift of the ages. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Obviously, couldn't have done it without you, and looking forward to expanding our community even more now and going forward. So again, thank you guys. If you are having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, let me know. Drop a comment in my comment section below. Let me know how this energy is playing out for you, especially if it is reflecting what I'm describing here. That's real valuable information to me. And again, thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate. Love you guys. And if you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of those boards. It is linked in my description box below. You can click that link, go to the Facebook group. You can see the whole images of the boards if that's something you're interested in. And come back with me on Friday, you guys. We have a weekend energy update to get into. I will be back to talk all about it. You don't want to miss it. We've got, obviously, we are moving through some very unique energy right now. So I will see you then. Have a beautiful full moon, midpoint of your week. And until next time, bye guys.